I think this is the most time that I've done. I've done 5 days a month, and now I'm gonna be doing like almost 4 years.
Okay.
So I know I have the ability to be sober. It's just like having the motivation to stay sober. And I think like doing all this time, like it might not sound legit, but it sucks, like my kids are growing up, I'm growing up, I'm getting older, wasting all this time, my whole 20s in prison, and
Mhm.
it's just time to change,
Okay.
We are about to watch the parole hearing of this woman. Now, this woman who has been in and out of jail time and time again, 4 months here, 5 months there, until finally, they said enough's enough. You're going to get a legitimate sentence, 15 years. And that's not all. She also has a federal sentence. So yeah, when she finishes serving her time in Utah, she's got a detainer from the feds. They're going to pick her up and send her who knows where in the country. And that's what they say about Fed time. It's not fun when you are middle of nowhere, when no family can come visit you. It's just, but if you can imagine what she must be thinking right now going into this parole hearing about 4 years into the 15-year sentence, hoping, praying that you will get paroled because she's still got to work on that Fed time. Anyways, let's take a step back, watch the parole hearing, and I'll share the results with you at the end.
Did you have a chance to review your whole blue packet?
Yes, I did.
Did you have any questions on that?
No.
I do also show that you had a federal case, which has since been taken care of, correct?
Yeah.
And you had a 15-month sentence?
So it's 27. We're estimating about 15 months left. So
Okay.
with like good time. So
And it's running along with this one, right?
I think so.
Okay.
I hope so.
I think it is. That's how I have interpreted it.
Okay.
Not to say that if it's not, what I say is law, just so you
Right.
know.
Okay.
Reviewing that psychological evaluation, what were your thoughts on that?
Honestly, okay. So when he came and met with me, he told me he already had it written. He just needed to fill in a few spots. So I kind of felt some type of way about it because I was like, how are you going to have this written without even meeting with me?
Right.
I feel like he kind of twisted some stuff that I said.
Okay.
Like I do have an addiction.
Sure.
However, I have like been clean. Like this is prison, stuff comes in, but I have been drug tested. I've passed every drug test. Like I've maintained sobriety even around it, and so I feel like he kind of discredited like what I have done, so yeah.
So you've been clean since you've been here.
Yeah. Well, since my whole incarceration, so 3 years almost.
Yeah.
32 months.
When is the last time you used?
It was May 24th of 2022.
What have you been doing since you've been here?
I graduated high school and I did have a job at UCI commissary for a while, for a little over a year. But then I started doing web and graphic design after I graduated high school. So I do that every single day, Monday through Friday.
Is that through college?
Yeah, DATC, Davis Tech.
Okay, before I forget, let's go over your current committing offenses really quick. You've got, in your case, 241-700-336, you were convicted of 2 third-degree felonies. One was possession of forgery writing device, and the other one was possession of an identity card or documents. It looks like officers were called at a motel on October 6, 2021 in Layton of 2 occupants who had paid for a room that had been declined on a card. When they searched the room, they found numerous stolen checks that were in different stages of being forged, identifying documents, stolen mail belonging to other people, drug paraphernalia, a printer, which appeared to be for creating forged documents. Is that about accurate, ma'am?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. And before you'd been brought in on these other charges, was this kind of a delayed charge that kind of just filtered in then?
Yeah, right. Oh, like a week before I came and saw the board the first time last year, it hit me.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about what you've been up to since you've been here.
So I was doing the CBT life skills on the tablet, but then they've been having problems with it, so I stopped doing that. I've just honestly been trying to. I kind of messed up a little bit when I first got here, trying to adjust, like not knowing what to expect going into prison, you know. So
Okay.
I kind of the first couple months here were a little rough, but then I just realized I need to kick back and stay away from everybody, really.
Okay.
So I really am just using this time to do school. Like I'm really passionate about graphic design. I have a clothing company out there, and like I haven't like used all the potential I have to build it to where I know it can be, because I'm all caught up in other stuff. But doing the graphic design school here and just learning all this stuff and like the career opportunities it has, like I just am so focused on that right now.
How long have you been in that program?
I started it in September, but I'm already like, I only have 2 courses left and I'm done. Like I'm flying through it.
Okay. What do you usually do out in the community?
Well, I am a mom, so having an addiction in the lifestyle I was living, I did try to balance 2 lives, you know. But my kids recently moved, so I really just I was a mom, but then the other half of me was just trying to survive out there. I really just
Where are your kids now?
they moved to Virginia with their dad.
Okay.
Yeah. We do co-parent really well. I have a super good relationship with my kids. They come visit me all the time.
How many kids do you have?
2.
Tell me a little bit about your disciplinary since you've been here.
So I had one, it was the sexual misconduct, like my first 2, second month here, I think. That was just like trying to, I don't know. It was just a stupid mistake, you know? And then ever since I was so embarrassed after it. That's when I realized like just stick to myself, you know? And then I had one for, cheeking medication, diverting my medication just
Okay.
recently. But it's not trying to justify it. The reason I did it though was sometimes I feel like it doesn't help me and I feel like it messes with my head. And it just kind of makes me feel weird to like if I take it earlier than when I normally do, and their pill line is so inconsistent. So I just was being stupid.
So are you on medication right now?
Yeah, I'm on. However, I haven't been taking it just because after I did my psych eval, he didn't like direct me to, but he's like, I would not recommend taking it if you're not consistent with it. He's like, it'll have more issues to your liver and all this stuff. So I honestly haven't been taking it.
Because his diagnoses are pretty much your stimulant, opioid, and then antisocial personality disorder.
Okay.
So who knows?
Yeah.
Did you feel like if you were taking that medication consistently, did it feel like it was helping?
Yeah, that's the thing why I stopped, is because I couldn't tell.
Okay.
You know, I didn't really see a difference. So I was, and then like, why take medicine if you don't need to? You know what I mean?
Right.
So I kind of was back and forth, but then like he told me, he was like, if you don't do it consistently, it's not going to help. So just don't take it at all, kind of thing. So
You feel like you have some mental health issues like bipolar, depression,
I feel like I
anxiety?
do. It's not
Okay.
super severe, but I feel like it's there. Yeah.
Okay. Have you taken medication in the past where it has felt like it's been effective?
When I was a juvenile, in a group home, I was on a medicine. I just can't remember what it was, but it was effective. And that's why I wish I could remember what it was,
Okay.
but I cannot, I have no idea.
Okay. Is there anything you feel like would prevent you from having a successful parole moving forward, sir, ma'am?
No, I think this time around, something I never have had is that I have a sober support system this time.
Okay.
Like my dad, he did have like, he was in prison before and he went through like his like trials, but he has been clean, for over a year, almost 2 years. He's like a counselor at a treatment center, like, and
Okay.
just seeing that like honestly gives me hope, you know, and it's something I've never had before,
Okay.
while being on supervision. So
Okay.
that's one thing that I think is going to be way different and have a big impact.
If you are paroled, if you still have prison time, you'll be paroled to your detainer, so you can go to do your
Right.
prison time. After all of that is done, after you've taken care of your incarceration stuff, what are your plans when you are out on parole?
Like I mentioned, I'm really passionate about my graphic design, so I definitely want to find a career or focus even more on my clothing line, just doing something, it'll occupy my time and I'll be passionate about it. So I want to do it, you know, I
Right.
want to go divert into doing something else. That's like my main thing. And then, I don't know, eventually, maybe if my kids do stay in Virginia, maybe going over there. And I do plan on paroling to Heber,
Okay.
which is somewhere I've never been, so I don't have any acquaintances there. No, like toxic environment, like trigger environment, stuff like that. So yeah, I think those are,
Okay. What's in Heber?
that's where my dad lives.
Okay.
So yeah.
And then as far as programming, you've been assessed to do residential substance abuse programming since you've been in here. So tell me what your plans are for substance abuse programming in the future.
So I did talk to my federal attorney about RDAP, and he says he thinks I'll have enough time to do that. So I plan on doing that in the feds. If not, my dad is super pro treatment. Like I said, he's a counselor at treatment center. So me and him have talked about treatment, whether it's required or not. He wants me to do treatment.
Okay.
So it's in my plans for sure. I feel like the time that I've done, I'll need like some type of transition. So I feel like even if you guys don't recommend it, I plan on going to like at least a sober living just for transition, you know, and like once I leave my dad's house, you know.
Okay. What do you feel like for you overall has changed the most that's going to help you moving forward so you don't end up back here?
I think this is the most time that I've done. I've done 5 days a month, and now I'm going to be doing like almost 4 years. And it's just a reality check for me. Being sober, I've kind of found myself because I was on drugs for so long back and like on and off, you know, and I was never off long enough to fully find myself again. I was like maybe 2 years, you know, like, but this like, I just look at who I was before and like, it's just ugly, you know, it's an ugly person, a mean person and careless. And like the goals that I have achieved in here, like are something that I want to keep working towards. And I just like who I am sober,
Okay.
you know.
Was there a time when you were in the community, outside of incarceration where you were sober? Like, what's the longest that you've been able to be sober out in the community?
So after I had my son, I was clean for almost 4 years.
Okay.
But then my relationship became abusive, so I left and then started using cocaine, just like socially, and then I relapsed back on meth after about a year of leaving my kid's dad. But yeah, other than that 4 years, it was like about 2 years.
Okay.
So I know I have the ability to be sober. It's just like having the motivation to stay sober. And I think like doing all this time, like it might not sound legit, but it sucks, you know, like my kids are growing up, I'm growing up, I'm getting older, wasting all this time, my whole 20s in prison, you know, and
Mhm.
it's just time to change, you know.
Okay. I was going to ask you another question, but I forgot what it was. That's okay. Is there anything you feel like the board needs to know or you would like the board to know?
No, I mean, if you guys are aware, I have the federal detainer. So honestly, like I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like I need to go to the next step. You know what I mean? Like I have some time still to do in the federal system and just being in the same place around the same people. Like, you know, a lot of people in here don't want to change. And though everybody's goal in prison is to get out of prison, a lot of people don't take it serious and it's a lot of people's lives in here. So I think I just want to go to the next step and like,
Okay.
you know, I don't want to make this my life. I don't want to get comfortable here. I don't, you know, I see people preferring max time and I never want to be that, you know, I don't want to
Yeah.
be, I watched this lady go up the stairs and she struggles because she's so old and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want that to be me, you know?
Right.
So,
Okay. Well, ma'am, what I plan on doing is taking the information we discussed today, compiling that into a report and submitting that to the board. You're well aware the board is the one who has the final decision in your case. They're made up of 5 members. It takes a majority vote for them to make that decision. They'll take into consideration everything you've completed and done leading up to this point. They'll also take into consideration the fact that you do have a detainer moving forward.
Right.
You have a 28-month guideline, which was September 18th, 2024. The reason that is so close is because you were given 414 days credit for time served.
okay.
You do have a 15-year top, which puts you at January 28th, 2038, which is the length of time the board will have jurisdiction over your case. So more than likely what'll happen if you've got that federal detainer, do you have probation after that?
Yeah,
with
3
them?
years.
3 years?
probation.
So your time with the state will exceed federal probation. So more than likely, they will probably just parole you to the federal, so you can do your time, and then you'll probably be on dual probation and
Okay.
parole at the same time. That guideline, that September guideline is what it is. They can still continue to go past that if they want to see you complete something prior to paroling you, just so you are aware as well. Do you have any other questions for me?
No.
All right. With that, we will go ahead and conclude this hearing. Thank you. Good luck to you and have a good day.
Thank you.
Detainer, so she's going to have to serve another like 15 months or so in the federal. And let me share with you, what's in her jacket. And thank you, Holly again for putting all this information in there. So as we can see, it's possession with intent to distribute 1 to 15 years, forgery 0 to 5, 0 to 5, 0 to 5, 0 to 5. Right now, the 1 to 15 for theft, second degree. Unlawful acquisition of a vehicle, whatever, 0 to 5, 0 to 5. She even has possession of another person's identity. But look at how ridiculous their legislation is. Apparently, if you have possession of 2 or possession of 100 people's licenses, it's the same sentencing guidelines. I guess they leave it up to the judge to decide whether you'll do the 0, the 6 months, or all 5 years. But, if you look at all this time she has, she's like, it's a full lifetime if she were to serve it consecutively. And then you can see here it says effective, they granted as of February 25th, 2025. And the release is contingent upon being sent to the detainer. I don't have anything else to share on this. It was just, I don't have any more information. I thought maybe with the federal detainer, but there'd be something maybe a little, but like it's interesting that the feds wanted her as well. Meanwhile, a second ago, someone in the same docket showed up with a kilo in their car, attempted homicide, not the first time she shot someone. And I mean, who shoots at someone twice in 6 months? The first one self-defense. The second one, it's just like, and they have the same, actually, she's already served a whole bunch of years on her crime. So, she may even end up serving more. But her EOS is 2038, if you can imagine, the same EOS as the attempted murder woman who we just saw. And
Okay.
So I know I have the ability to be sober. It's just like having the motivation to stay sober. And I think like doing all this time, like it might not sound legit, but it sucks, like my kids are growing up, I'm growing up, I'm getting older, wasting all this time, my whole 20s in prison, and
Mhm.
it's just time to change,